Hey folks, this is BestInSlot, and in tonight's video we're going to take a look at a bunch of toy lines for the upcoming Camp Cretaceous Season 3, featuring lots of new dinosaurs, some of your favourite characters from Camp Cretaceous, and what we're going to do is glean from these some hints and possible dinosaur reveals for Camp Cretaceous Season 3. You know, what will we find out about Camp Cretaceous based on the toy lines? Toy lines are always the best way to kind of figure stuff out ahead of time. There will, however, be a focus on this girl right here. This is, of course, Blue. We're going to talk specifically about this image in a second. I'm just going to show you where it came from. This is from the Deluxe Junior novelization. This isn't particularly new, but it does tie in with what I'm going to show you in a minute. And as well as, you know, Blue making a reappearance, it's worth noting that in the Season 1 novelization, they've all got like the same layout. This top image here was the Indominus Rex, and in the Season 2 novelization, it was the Tyrannosaurus Rex. It was Rexy. So the dinosaur taking this top slot up here is obviously a big focus of the season and very important in that season. So we can already assume that Blue is going to be having a much more expanded role in Season 3 of Camp Cretaceous compared to Season 1s and 2s, where she, you know, I think she made a brief cameo in Season 2 where she popped her head up and that was about it. So Blue is definitely going to be more of a factor. Of course, E750 couldn't be here because they're trying to not spoil it too much ahead of time, although we do know what it looks like, and I'll do a breakdown of that later on this week. We know they're going to be on a hang glider, and they're going to be happy, and there's going to be the Dimorphodons as well. The Dimorphodons are going to come back. Of course, they broke out when the Indominus Rex attacked the aviary. We haven't really seen much of them since then. It'll be interesting to see how they're going to work their way into Season 3. Now, the reason I wanted to focus on the Blue here and why I'm showing you this image in the first place is because of this new toy reveal earlier on today, a new Mattel toy. There's this one right here. Shout out to collectjurassic.com for these images. This is the third that I could find in a series of toy packs that Mattel are releasing, and it's basically a combination between a character from the show, in this case Yaz, and a dinosaur or dinosaurs or different props as well that will feature in Camp Cretaceous Season 3. We can assume these are Camp Cretaceous Season 3 toys. So, already we've got a very disinterested looking Yaz getting absolutely ravaged by a pair of very strangely long-necked, long-tailed Compsognathus. These are very stretchy Compsognathus, but I think we can assume they're Compsognathus, which would be really cool. It's a dinosaur that has briefly popped up in Camp Cretaceous, and not much. These are way too big to be compies. It's very unusual. I mean, they must be. Look at the head shape and stuff, but it's very odd. Anyways, you gotta bear in mind these toys may well change before release as well. But the compies have really only made an appearance like hopping around the disabled gyrosphere and stuff like that. They've not been a focus so far. So what I really like about Camp Cretaceous is that it does keep bringing the focus onto new dinosaurs each season, and it seems the compy might be part of that. But of course, we can't ignore that Blue is right here as well. Now alone, these two images, I mean this one means more, but alone this might not mean much, but in combination with this deluxe novelization thingamajiggy, and there isn't a non-deluxe one, I'm just saying, but in combination we can then assume that Blue is going to definitely have a much more expanded role in Season 3 of Camp Cretaceous, and I want to talk about that briefly because I have some theories about how this is going to be done. So of course, what's happened at the moment is we're kind of before the events of Fallen Kingdom, before the Isla Nublar eruption. Blue is, we see her leave at the end of Jurassic World, and she's just out there, she's just living her best life on Isla Nublar before the volcanic eruption of Mount Sibo and before she gets taken away by Mills and people like that. What I want to see, because Blue was very, the term I use is puppified, where she's softened and rounded and made less into a wild animal because she's been, you know, tamed by Grady and she wants to protect him and all that kind of jazz. Some people like that, some people don't. That's neither here nor there. Given that Owen isn't here and Blue is basically a wild animal once more on Isla Nublar, roaming for survival, hunting, trying to, you know, eat things, I think Blue, this is a little out there, well, is it though? So basically in every season of Camp Cretaceous we've had a big dinosaur and a little dinosaur as the primary antagonistic threat. This season, E750 is definitely going to take that larger role, the one that the Indominus Rex and the T-Rex had, whereas the smaller role, which was say the Ceratosaurus, the Carnotaurus, the Baryonyxes in particular last season, might well be taken by Blue. And that's not only because she's clearly a big focus here, but also because if you go to the novelization, like here she looks pretty chill, but on the novelization image, this is a This is a wild looking blue. This is not a friendly looking blue. This is a wild looking blue. You know, she's gazing right into the camera. The teeth are bared. It's like she's ready to hunt, or she's like she's ready to kill the person taking the photo. And given Camp Cretaceous has this slight dedication, very good one as well, but it likes to show the dinosaurs in a slightly more realistic light. If you think back to, say, the watering hole and stuff like that, I mean, sometimes it makes up some nonsense like the Stegosaurus, the plates and stuff like that, but the point is it likes to try to show the dinosaurs with some more natural behaviours. This makes me think Blue might actually take on that slightly more wild, antagonistic, hunting down the camp people role, which I think would be really, really good. I think we need to see Blue as an actual dinosaur again, so I'm really hopeful for this. I think it'll be cool just in general. I'm not like the biggest fan of Blue, but if we can kind of reimagine her a little bit in this setting as a more natural dinosaur, you know, maybe see her do something, not even just hunting, but just living her life and looking after herself and being a wild raptor, I think that'd be really, really cool. So yeah, fingers crossed for that. We're going to move on now to this next one of Darius with, this is meant to be a Gallimimus. it's a creature wrought from nightmares, but it's meant to be a Gallimimus. For some reason he comes with, this is baby Bumpy, of course, which seems odd. Seems a little odd to put it with Darius. The interesting thing about this is actually this down here. Little mid-production edit here, just to mention that, of course, this resonance chamber that we see on this image, I'm about to discuss it at length, was actually used by Darius right at Season 1, Episode 1 of Camp Cretaceous. He uses it to call a velociraptor to attack the Tyrannosaurus Rex, and that's how he actually wins the game and ends up going to Camp Cretaceous in the first place. So, just a little throwback there, worth mentioning for sure. There you go, look at that. Bam. With a smiley face because I'm proud of myself. That is, of course, the raptor, I don't know what you'd call it, it's like an echo chamber, basically, that made an appearance in Jurassic Park 3. Grant used it to call for the raptors, calm the raptors down, and then, you know, they did the egg transfer and stuff like that, where he goes, I can't do the noise. But it's very interesting that that's making an appearance here, or at least potentially an appearance in Camp Cretaceous Season 3. Now, of course, seeing anything, and the only reason I'm so certain about Blue is because of the novelization, seeing anything in these images isn't a 100% guarantee at all that said thing is going to appear in Camp Cretaceous Season 3. However, it would seem to me very, very odd to have this upcoming toy line for Camp Cretaceous Season 3 with the characters, with the dinosaurs, and then randomly throw in this prop from the history of Jurassic Park. Now, given that this is a raptor calling chamber thingamajiggy, and that we know Blue is making a bigger appearance in Season 3, you know, that is, you know, definitely a thing. Is there not a good chance that this has something to do with Blue, basically? We've seen it in the past, as Grant tried to use it to, you know, communicate with the raptors. So what are the chances that Darius is going to find this same thing in Season 3 of Camp Cretaceous, use it, maybe not being fully aware of the significance of this item, and that's actually how Blue emerges in Season 3 in the first place, is that she will be called to by the camp people. Bearing in mind she is, at this point, probably the only velociraptor alive on the island that we know of. So if she's the only raptor alive and she hears this call from this echo chamber, she's going to come running fairly quickly. And when she arrives and finds that there's not a fellow raptor species alive, but instead these delicious humans, I could see that taking her in that being the lead into that antagonistic role. I think it's a very exciting prospect. We have one more toy to show you, and that's this one right here. This is Kenji, looking a little bit like Johnny Bravo, which I approve. And the Collect Jurassic page, which again, shout out to Collect Jurassic, definitely go check those out. And I think they suggested this was, I can't quite remember, but I think they suggested this was the moped from Season 2. And it's clearly not, it's a scooter of some description, and I don't remember a scooter in Season 2 of Camp Cretaceous, but I would have to rewatch it to clarify. But a scooter is the thing that you put one leg on and use the other leg to push it. I'm doing the action now, you can't see me, but I'm doing the action. But you put one leg on and you push yourself along the ground, basically. You know, we all had scooters as kids. And then, of course, we have another new dinosaur. Now, we're going to talk about this again in a minute. I do think that the presence of these dinosaurs in these packs, given that they are tied in with the characters, is a pretty strong indication that that dinosaur might make an appearance in Season 3. So this would be the new Monolophosaurus, which is a pretty great looking dinosaur, actually. I really like the design on this guy with that really, really unique crest at the sort of nasal region front end of the skull. So we can think a Monolophosaurus might make an appearance. Maybe that's going to be the secondary, smaller antagonist. Maybe it's going to be the primary smaller antagonist. And Blue will make a couple of appearances. That's where I would lead. Like last season, the Baryonyx was definitely the main smaller antagonist, along with Rexy. And then you had like the Ceratosaurus making an appearance and stuff like that. There tends to be a main one, but others come in. So maybe the Monolopho is going to take that main role, and then Blue will pop in now and again. I don't think you can have Blue hunting them down for the entire season. That seems unlikely, but you never know what's going to happen. But this is interesting, and the reason I'm talking about how this doesn't guarantee anything is a whole other point. Let's look at this. So, this is I've just kicked everything in my room. This is a series of images from a Asian website showing the new Camp Cretaceous branded Spinosaurus. A really nice Spinosaurus skin. Looks different from the one from Jurassic Park 3. It lacks the blue coloration in particular. But I'm like 99% sure Spinosaurus is not going to make an appearance in Camp Cretaceous Season 3. I know that was rumoured for a while and people discussed it, but it just seems immensely unlikely to me, given we know Blue's going to have a bigger appearance. There's all these other dinosaurs coming in, and more importantly than anything, E750 is going to make its big grand reveal. I don't think you'd ever dilute that by adding in a Spinosaurus. What they have been doing with Camp Cretaceous, and you can see this Camp Cretaceous has got that like wooden logo, is because Camp Cretaceous is so popular, they're basically throwing the Camp Cretaceous branding on everything. The dinosaur doesn't have to appear in the show. There's many dinosaurs with this Camp Cretaceous branding that don't appear in Camp Cretaceous and probably never will. So I'm using this sort of as a way of tempering expectations at least a little bit. The suggestion being that just because these are Camp Cretaceous items with Camp Cretaceous branding doesn't mean they'll appear in Camp Cretaceous, at least not in Season 3. The reason I would lean the other way for these ones, though, is because of the presence of the human characters, and because, again, of the presence of Blue, who we know is going to make a bigger appearance. Well, like 99% sure she's going to make that bigger appearance in Season 3. So my point is that this shows that it's not a guarantee, and I do think Spinosaurus won't appear, but it does seem likely because of the differences between the two toy lines. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. It just means you have to take everything with a grain of salt. Just because we see that logo doesn't mean, yes, it's going to be in. And there are other toys as well, as I say, with that same branding that will not be making an appearance quite yet, at the very least. But if we assume these three are real at the very least, and that means there are, 3 more to go as well, I'll definitely show you those as they pop up. We have some pretty exciting stuff to look forward to. Yeah, definitely, I mean, this alone is pretty intriguing. The Dimorphodons having more feature, and definitely Blue's angry Blue making more of an appearance. There's one last thing I want to show you, nothing to do with Camp Cretaceous, but I just thought it was cool. Again, shown by Collect Jurassic, there is a beautiful looking, with electronic Jurassic Park gates as well, apparently. A really, really nice looking Jurassic Park Monopoly. It looks really, really good. And you can see here it's got a little try-me button. So the idea is it's got electric Jurassic Park gates. Maybe you click them and they open, or they make a noise, or they play the Jurassic Park theme tune a little bit, something like that, or there's a T-Rex roar when you open them, something like that. I'm hoping, basically, the gates sit above the, the go sign at the start of the game, so every time you pass over go, you have to walk through the Jurassic Park gates. That would be really, really cool. I just love this kind of thing. I'm a big fan of Monopoly. I've got like 30 versions of Monopoly. It's kind of a thing I collect, so yeah, proper Jurassic Park Monopoly. We do already have one, but it was okay. We need like a revitalized one with a little bit of va-va-voom. Anyway, just wanted to show you that because that was cool. Big shout out once again to collectjurassic.com. Definitely go check out their website and Twitter. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. I've espoused several different theories in this video, but I think a lot of it makes decent logical sense, and I'm pretty excited to see what direction they take Season 3 on the back of this. We'll know pretty soon. We should have trailers coming out soon. We should have more images coming out soon. It's only a month and a little bit now until Season 3 hits in the first place. We shall see very soon. If you enjoyed this video, please do consider throwing me a like down below, leave a comment and subscribe to the channel. Make sure you hit that little bell icon when you do, because YouTube is silly. Like, why would you subscribe and not want to be notified? It's just, yeah, whatever. Thank you so much for joining me. I'll see you lovely folks next time. Cheers, much love as always. Bye-bye.
Reaching out.